Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tilting Ground Untitled Notre Dame USC Football Podcast. I'm Michael Muto. I'm here with Greg Flamong. Hey, Greg.
Happy holidays, buddy.
I should have said Merry Christmas. You're right.
You should have. You're terrible. I say happy holidays.
We are an inclusive podcast.
So, yeah.
So happy holidays to all our listeners. This is our Before Christmas podcast. Actually, before we start, a bit of housekeeping news. I do need to thank Ryan Abraham from USCFootball.com. There was supposed to be an interview for everyone to listen to, but it is now in the annals of lost podcasts with our very first podcast. So I just do want to thank him for his time, and it was a great listen, and he taught me a lot that I'll try to dole out throughout these upcoming episodes.
Well, let's hear it. I was wondering if you're going to bring it up because I want to know what he had to say.
All right. Let's see.
Well, what we got. I mean, we could set it up. I'm just saying, like, I want the deets. I want the deets.
All right. So let's see. He was very optimistic about the Trojans, which made me very happy. He was optimistic about the Rose Bowl, optimistic about next season. Just a lot of positives. He has a lot of positives from Ryan Abraham. He told me about his story. He owns USCFootball.com. I thought that was really cool. So that took a good 10 minutes of the interview that no one's ever going to hear.
Uh-huh.
He started with a newsletter when he was an SC student that he used to mail to his friends.
Uh-huh.
And that just grew into the website. And it was pretty interesting, actually, how he started. Now they're part of the Scout or the Rivals Network. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
So let's see. He put me at ease about Clay Helton's recruiting. He said that some of the other guys like T. Martin are the rah-rah kind of guys, and then Clay Helton's the steady hand at the end. Like he wins the parents over in the room. Huh. So I could never really heard about Clay Helton's recruiting prowess before. Let's see what else.
That's interesting because Brian Kelly operates in a similar way, I think, and it's not been very productive. I was actually just looking at the numbers right now, and it's like Notre Dame gets a lot of good 4-star players, but in the last 3 years they have 0 5-star players. Well, I think the last one they got was Jalen Smith. And he is no longer in the program. So
he lived in Indiana.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, I mean, it is a little unfair because USC is in Los Angeles, which is part of California, and they have T. Martin. They have T. Martin, who's supposedly a great recruiter. So, I think they kind of make the most of it. It's like you always tell me, Notre Dame has trouble recruiting, just for multiple reasons.
Yes. I can think of one good one.
The academics or location?
No. Well, I mean, I think that's why it's difficult. I think that they need to work harder, just period. But, I mean, we can get into that later.
Talk about it now. We got Notre Dame time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We talked about Adoree. And, how we spent a lot of time on it last 2 weeks.
We've had some thoughts about some of the awards he's been receiving.
And it was cute. He was kind of in line with us. He's a great kid. He has some electric plays. He had the 2 interceptions against Washington, the best team in the Pac-12. So he had a good game against the kid from Alabama, the good game against the kid from Colorado. So he kind of defended Adoree a little more than we do here. I know. I know. But yeah, it's very positive. He's very positive and bullish on USC. So I like
that. He had a great game against the team that they lost to 55-6 or whatever it was. A great performance. No, I mean I'm very interested. Did he talk at all about whether he thinks Adoree or Juju are going to come back?
He did. No one knows. He said no one knows. Adoree has nothing to. I don't think Adoree doesn't have anything to lose. He can only get better. I think was his, or stay the same really. because he's kind of small, but he'll always be fast. So maybe the higher profile could help him out. And then no one really knows about Juju.
Yeah, he seems like a kind of person that people don't really have a handle on.
Yeah.
Which is fine, all the more power to him. It's kind of topical now though with all these people skipping bowl games.
Yeah, that that wasn't a thing until I guess Jalen Smith really started that trend.
Yeah, and the funny thing is he tweeted out like, if I had to do it again, like I'd still play. It's interesting comment. But I think the consensus is that like no one would skip the Rose Bowl.
I mean, let's put this in perspective here in case no one knows what we're talking about.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey is not playing in the Sun Bowl, and Leonard Fournette is not playing in whatever bowl LSU is playing in.
Yeah, I think it's the Citrus Bowl.
That sounds SEC like.
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, that's what we're talking about. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, he's been banged up all year, so I kind of understand it, but still, I don't know. I think you play to win the games, right? Like, what are you there for?
I mean, I understand it absolutely, and like the hard thing is like they definitely have a point. Like, why should they play in a game when they can move on to something else? And it's like if one of their coaches got another job, like that coach would leave and not coach the bowl game. So it's like they want to go to another job, so why should they play in the bowl game? So like I get it.
It is only one game. It's not like a whole season,
Yeah, and bowls are really just like money grabs for the schools and conferences anyway.
And a real crapshoot.
Yeah, totally. So like I get it from that perspective. Like my thing though is like once we go down this rabbit hole or whatever, like where does it end? Because like people were talking about Leonard Fournette and Jadeveon Clowney like not even playing their junior years. So it was like, is that going to be happening? Like, are guys going to sit out whole seasons?
What if sophomores sit out bowl games? I mean, the coaches would be mad, but like what if Sam Darnold's like, you know what? I'm just kind of done for the season.
Yeah, well, that's a good point because, and I was telling Tim this too. Like, what if Sam Darnold, like, if he tears up his knee in the Rose Bowl, like, there's a good chance that he's not totally ready to play in the fall. And so then what? Like, he's trying to be a pro quarterback, so like he can't really risk missing a whole season either.
What if McCaffrey shut it down in October? What if he's just like, oh, I'm done?
What if Deshaun Kaiser did that?
Right.
Like
I think missing like big chunks of the season is a lot different though than missing one game.
It is different, but it's like at some point someone's gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like
Clowney kind of did it. Jadeveon Clowney's last season in college football was not impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like I think that everyone now is just kind of like, yeah, like I totally defend Christian McCaffrey and I totally defend Leonard Fournette. But I think it's a lot like when Greg Popovich started sitting players like in regular season games just to rest. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, "Oh, that's totally smart." Like Greg Popovich like gaming the system. And now like everyone's doing it.
And people don't like it.
And now it's like, well, wait a minute. Like you're all going to do it? So like is every draft eligible player, like every draft junior, like are they all just going to sit?
Well, I mean, some guys need big games, I imagine. Like
here's the thing. What percentage of players is going to have a bowl game that's big enough to be like, you know what? We were going to take you in the 5th, but now we're going to take you in the 3rd.
I mean, I don't know. I can tell you the opposite, though. I mean, Leon Hall got destroyed by Dwayne Jarrett, and that guy was still a first-round pick.
So there you go. So it's like I don't think the single game matters so much. Like, I don't know. I could totally see to the point where it's like 4 or 5 years down the line. It's like this is going to be happening all the time. It's like, are we cool with that?
I don't know.
Are we cool with teams being like, you know what, we're eliminated from conference championship play? Like, I'm just gonna shut it down. Like, are we cool with that? I don't know. I'm kind of not.
Yeah, I'm kind of not too.
It just takes away, and it's like, look, if the bowl, like, here was my idea for the bowl games, and this is kind of like related to, what's going on in the current situation, but just to get like more people involved, like, you know how guys redshirt throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the NCAA should make it like, look, the bowl games do not count towards eligibility. So let's get everyone involved. So it's like,
so Matt Fink at USC could be the backup quarterback instead of Jalen Green.
Yeah, exactly. And you can get a running back in there. You can get some receivers some playing time. So it's like you use this bowl preparation to get like everyone ready to play. And, it's like especially in the lesser bowls, because like we said, like Juju Smith and Dory Jackson are not going to miss the Rose Bowl. Like that's just not going to happen. I don't think, but like
right.
like the Citrus Bowl and the Sun Bowl, like let everyone play. Like what are these kids redshirting still? Like you said, like it's an exhibition. Like the game doesn't count. It's just a money grab. They're all dressing up anyway. So let them play and don't let them cost a year. Like let it be a springboard to their next season.
That's pretty fun. That's a pretty fun idea, actually.
I thought of it by myself.
That's good. That's good. We should trademark that.
I mean, I'm sure someone else said it.
You never know. Don't sell yourself short.
I'm sure someone else said it somewhere.
But no, that's good. Yeah, because especially if someone's hurt or someone thinking about going pro or the game starts to get out of hand, it'd be nice to just throw some freshmen out there and just see what they can do.
Well, it's like guys who it's like maybe we're banged up because like I know this happens with Notre Dame kind of a lot, where like a guy is ready to play and he's killing it on the scout team. But it's like he kind of came into his own in late October, and you don't want to burn a year of eligibility by having him play like a few snaps, like in some meaningless games. But it's like if you can preserve his year and then have him play in the bowl game to kind of give him like just to get his feet wet, in the college game, in a game that doesn't really count towards anything. Like I don't see why they couldn't do that. I mean, who says no to that?
The NCAA, because they're no fun.
Right, but that's because they're terrible. Like, no one says no. This benefits everyone.
I love it.
That's my idea.
Let's champion that. We have another week.
So
let's see. Since we were talking about USC, let's just finish up with USC. Okay. Max Brown is transferring to Pittsburgh, so the captain. I don't know if he will be at the Rose Bowl. It's unclear at the moment.
I would think not, right?
I don't know. It's about a week away, so I think he's still technically on the team. He's a captain.
He is a captain.
I wonder who takes his captain spot.
Who's the backup?
He's not there. He's the backup captain.
Is it Jalen Green? Who would be the quarterback?
Jalen Green is the backup quarterback. So yeah.
He can't play. There's just no way.
No, there's no way.
He's great. He's signed with another program.
It would be great. Let's see. What else happened? Chad Wheeler was named an All-American. So he's another USC All-American this year.
Good for him.
Good for him. The actual best offensive lineman on the team.
Yes.
Let's see. So that's Zach Banner, All-American. Chad Wheeler, All-American. And Adoree Jackson, All-American. There was one other thing. Lane Kiffin stole a coach away from USC.
Who did he take?
No one big. It was like one of the assistants.
Oh.
I don't even remember the name right now. That's how important it was.
I'm really looking forward to like 3 years down the line when Clay Helton gets fired and then he can be Alabama's offensive coordinator.
That's true because Steve Sarkisian is Alabama's new offensive coordinator. Now, does Kiffin get to offensive coordinate the bowl game, or because the Alabama's game kind of matters? Like that's for the national title.
Yeah.
So is he still there?
Who, Kiffin?
Yeah.
Last I heard, I think he was still planning to do it, but I mean, does Lane even want him to do it?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I haven't heard anything either way. So,
I mean, does Saban wanted to do it?
Right,
I said Lane, right?
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, I meant Saban. Sorry.
I mean, yeah. I think you just want continuity and consistency.
I don't know, man. Those two aren't really like best buds.
I think they do it on purpose.
Okay.
I think it's like part of the sideline show.
Okay.
When you're Alabama, there's just you're such a high profile program. That, Saban, the cameras are going to show Kiffin every time, and Saban yelling at Kiffin is just fun.
Yeah,
it's part of the show.
Okay.
So I don't know. So yeah, Steve Sarkisian, new offensive coordinator at Alabama. I think that's it.
I have a question for you about USC fans, because I've been thinking a lot about this, about Notre Dame fans the last couple of weeks. What is your least favorite thing about USC fans?
Ooh. I think because we're in the city.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same thing, that the bandwagon nature of the squad. I mean, attendance was super down this year.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's like, oh wait, Rose Bowl, huh? Let's check that out.
My guys.
My guys, my squad.
My squad.
It's easy to swap on the UCLA gear, or the USC gear. Especially UCLA is doing so good in basketball right now. It's like, oh wait, no, I'm a Bruin. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Lorenzo Ball.
Lorenzo Ball.
Yeah. It's like I think that's the one thing, is there's a lot of fickle fandom.
Okay.
At USC. And parking prices. Parking prices are rough.
Parking prices. You got to take the metro, man.
I know that. What's it called? Exhibition line.
Yeah.
I know. So yeah, I think fickle fandom, and I imagine every college football team has the fans who just always think you're going to win a national title. So I can't really hold that to USC.
Yeah, but you think that it's like they're kind of entitled to the national title kind of thing?
They just always think, like, if you say anything bad about USC, it's like, what's going on? Like, you have to be a homer. I feel like when you talk about USC.
My impression is just that USC fans are either like if they'll lose a couple games, and it's like, forget it, they're garbage. Like, I'm out. I don't even watch them anymore. And it's like, you don't want to watch the games? Like, I don't get it. Like, what does that even mean? It's like, I don't even watch them. So it's like, okay. I mean, I guess that's a bandwagon in a sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably an LA thing too. Like I said earlier,
totally, it is.
There's a lot more going on.
I don't see a lot of Laker flags when I drive to work every morning. No,
yeah, we definitely love winners out here. For better or for worse.
Well, they have been winning, so
it's true. The hottest team in college football.
Boom.
I think that's it for USC. All right, let's talk about the big news. We waited a day, hopefully that we'd get a little more closure for Notre Dame. And what happened to Notre Dame, Greg?
There's moving and shaking going on all over the place. So they have a new defensive coordinator.
What's his name?
His name is Mike Elko.
Good first name.
He was Michael is actually my middle name.
Ah, see?
And he came from Wake Forest.
And if my notes are correct, they are one of the few teams who were back-to-back top 40 in defense the past 2 seasons.
I think it's the past 3.
Which is a really weird stat, but good for him.
I think it's the last 3. And this is why that means something to me. So it's like when you got like Brian Kelly, right? When he came from Cincinnati and he was 34-6 in his 3 years in Cincinnati. And everyone says, yeah, but that's like small-timey at Cincinnati, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people, they would be, it's easy for them to say the same thing about Elko at Wake Forest. The difference is that at Cincinnati, Brian Kelly, the teams that they're playing within their conference and then out of conference, like they're all kind of the same. They're all in the same conference. There's not like one big powerhouse that's in that. I don't even know what they were in at the time. Like the Big East.
I was about to ask you.
I think it was the Big East. So you're talking about like West Virginia. You're talking about Pitt. You're You're talking about
Miami?
No. I mean, West Virginia and Pitt are basically the two big programs, and then
Big
whoever
schools
else.
Back then.
Yeah, whoever, like Syracuse maybe.
Every now and then.
But it's like they're all kind of the same in terms of talent, right? So it's talent on talent. It's like same. Which doesn't take away from 34-6. Like, you don't go 34-6 if you're bad, right? If you're a bad coach, you just don't do that. Not 3 years. So, but the difference is that Wake Forest, they are the bottom team in a major conference like the ACC. So if you're top 40, when in every game you either have at the very best equal talent and at the worst far inferior talent when you're playing like Clemson and Florida State and Miami, and you're still in the top 40, like you're doing something right in that situation. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's like you are at a disadvantage every single time your team steps on the field and you are competitive. When they had 37 sacks last year. I mean, Notre Dame had 14. Like, that's incredible production. Like, Notre Dame's 2012 defense had 34. So that just goes to show, like, the guy, for whatever reason, like, he can get after the quarterback. They're in the top 20 every year in forcing turnovers. So, I'm in on that.
Rave reviews from everyone. Great football mind, thrown around a lot, and all the stuff I saw.
Yeah, like, and it's just like he gets these guys who, like, oh, X player was a former Toledo commitment, and he, ends up being like the second leading tackler.
All ACC or something.
Yeah, and I heard another podcast, like Notre Dame's had Toledo guys who were committed to Toledo before come to their school, but like they turned into nothing. Like nothing became of them, and he takes these guys and turns them into real players. Like he had a corner who they got was like a 2-star, and he goes through the program, and next thing you know, he's a first-round pick. Like he's picked 16th. So,
No, help me through this. I off the top of my head, I can't think of any. Have any Notre Dame defensive players? I'm sure there's like a handful, but really progressed. I feel like you come in as a known quantity, and you just kind of stay the same.
That
maybe not Niles Morgan. Maybe
that is no, because we don't know what Niles Morgan really was. I mean, he was the guy in like the middle of the defense who, like, someone has to make tackles.
Right.
Like he displays athleticism and physicality at times, but he never like made a play this year where I was like, man, that's a great play. Like he sniffed out the play and he went underneath the block and he shot through a gap and he sacked the guy. Like, he made some plays that were made based on his athleticism, but not based on his ability as like a football player, where it's like he showed great instincts or he showed great technique or anything like that. It's basically like, look, the guy made a play because he was blocked and he got off the block and he tackled the running back 5 yards down the line, for a 5-yard gain or whatever. And it's like, well, someone has to tackle him, So I feel like he kind of had the season that like any generic linebacker would have in the defense that they were playing. Like he had 90 tackles.
Okay.
It's like he didn't play great. He didn't play terrible, but it's like I wouldn't say that, oh, he's really developed as a player. Like it just seemed like it was standard. And
so back to the original question, like I feel like no one really progresses. You just kind of
I couldn't even think of a guy on this year's defense. Like Drew Tranquil, he's been in the program for a while. He was doo-doo.
Yeah.
Like Cole Luke, like his best season was as a sophomore.
He got worse.
Yeah, like he just didn't progress. Like you said, like I couldn't even think of a guy who's been in the program for a long time and is markedly better than he was like as a freshman. Like Andrew Trumbetti. Like, there's a perfect example of a guy who played a lot as a freshman and was a complete liability as a junior this year. I mean, the guy's like a 3-year starter, and he's just a liability. Like, he's not good. So I mean, they needed this bad because, I don't know who is going to be good on the defensive line next year, and they need to get production out of somebody.
They got a lot of young guys though, so that's nice.
But they have a lot of pieces, but like without a new face coming in or someone who, is producing 37 sack seasons, like I would have been like, I don't know, like at least a new person like him gives me hope that
they got a lot of young guys for Elko to
like he'll do something. I don't know what specifically that would be, but it gives me hope that it can happen.
So does he bring his own coaches with him, or does he hang with the Notre Dame coaches?
I think that he has the the right to bring whoever he wants. Like there was a rumor that the defensive line coach was out yesterday, but then that was like pretty emphatically shot down. But I don't think he's interviewed yet because Elko was just announced today, like officially, even though it's been kind of rumored for about a week. Like strongly rumored, like he's the coach. They needed to go through the background check kind of thing.
Is it George O'Leary?
Yes, it is
a proper vetting process.
Man, I'll never forget that day. Man, that was funny. But anyway, so I think he's gonna bring in at least one person. I think, just because they have an opening. I don't know who that's gonna be, but just to have someone who's installing a system that I know works at the college level is just nice.
It's like if the Wake Forest guys can figure it out, I'm fairly confident that Notre Dame guys can figure it out.
Yeah. And so a couple of other coaching things that happened. So the special teams coach and the tight ends coach were the same guy, and he was let go. And they brought in Brian Polian, who was the special teams coach under Charlie Weiss.
Now, is that Bill's son?
I don't know.
If I were a better podcaster, I would have done that myself. But
if I was a better podcaster, I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but like it's not anything that I've heard.
Okay.
All I know of him is that he's basically responsible for Manti Te'o coming to Notre Dame. Like he flew back and forth to Hawaii all the time.
Okay.
Which from South Bend is no small thing.
No.
And then my special guest, the Notre Dame guy, Brian Driscoll, he was talking about the strength and conditioning program, and Notre Dame fired the strength and conditioning coach, which is pretty amazing because he's like Brian Kelly's best friend.
He is the son of NFL executive Bill Polian.
He is?
He is.
Cool. Well, that seems good, right? Pedigree.
Yeah. Pedigree.
That's not nothing. Yeah, so they fired the strength coach. Well, I don't know if I said fired and then I got yelled at because it was like, oh no, he was reassigned. He wasn't fired. It's like look, whatever.
You're not the strength coach anymore. You're fired. Sorry.
He's not doing the job that he was hired to do. He's doing something different. He's not the strength coach. So yeah, I mean, Brian Driscoll was not happy with the strength program, and Brian Kelly's making a change. And there was a lot of people were wondering, like, how much does Brian Kelly want to be at Notre Dame? I mean, if you fire your best friend,
it's a pretty big commitment.
You're taking this seriously. Like, he doesn't have to do that. He really, he could have just said, like, hey, we're going to make some philosophical changes that will make a difference, and kept his friend on staff, and he did not. So
maybe he listens to the podcast.
Maybe he should. We've got some brilliant ideas, Michael.
We do. Wait, I want to go back to Brian Polian for a second.
Okay.
I didn't realize he was the head coach at Nevada last year.
He was.
So I mean, that's a pretty big get when a head coach from last year is your special teams coach.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I mean, he could have got because he came from he went from Notre Dame to Stanford to I want to say Texas A&M and then Nevada. So he could have gone any number of places. It's cool that he it's weird how it's last year, I was running my own program, and this year I'm teaching the Gunners.
But I think that's a good rehab move. If you're an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, you kind of need to stick around for a while.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a special teams coach, you just go jet when you find a job you like. It's not that big of a deal.
And Notre Dame's not terrible for the resume.
No. That's a solid hire. All right, back to the other coaches. Sorry.
Okay.
I got excited there.
So so that's 3 right there, and so they just need to figure out what's going on with offensive coordinator because Mike Sanford, the guy they hired 2 years ago, went to Western Kentucky to be a head coach. So
Western Kentucky, you know who used to coach there?
Clay Helton.
The Helton brothers, yeah.
Or was it Tyson?
I think it was Tyson.
Tyson Helton.
And the offensive line coach.
It's a freaking big deal, man. Western Kentucky. I guess Mike Sanford coached there before.
Oh.
So I guess he started there. I mean, my big plan is, for him to coach there for a couple of years, and then Notre Dame hires him on to replace Brian Kelly. That's my best case scenario situation.
That works. Mike Sanford, the former Long Beach State quarterback coach.
Uh-huh.
All right.
He's the Mike Sanford Jr., the guy who just took the job. He's younger than us. He's 34.
No, I have the wrong Mike Sanford.
You do. His dad coached at Long Beach State.
Oh.
And at Notre Dame. And at Western Kentucky. And now he's coaching there again. So yeah, Mike Sanford Jr. He's
Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, this makes more sense now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 34. He's younger than us. Which always makes me feel good about myself.
Cool for him.
It's yeah, I'm a teacher and he's running a freaking football program. Fantastic.
It's Western Kentucky.
Dude, I don't even care. They pay a lot of money. Guy's the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame at 33 years old. What a weenie.
Yikes.
One of these overachievers.
He was the quarterback at Boise State. I don't remember him.
I don't think he played.
He probably didn't play.
Yeah. He was too busy. He's probably making more money than the guy who started over him, though.
That's a great point.
The guy who started over him's probably got CTEs, probably.
Yeah, not a good look. I'm trying to think of his name.
Rages. I mean, when was he there? Was there a Zabransky or something?
2000 to 2003.
Oh, that's so long ago.
I know.
I mean, Boise State wasn't a thing back then. We were in college.
That's true.
Boise State was not. I did not think a lot about Boise State football when I was
with the blue field
in high school. I mean, in college, the blue field. I was playing football then. That's fun. But he's our age. He's our age.
We're really dating ourselves.
Yeah, totally.
In 2000, they were first in the Big West, and they won the Humanitarian Bowl.
Is that true? Who was their quarterback?
I'm about to look. Let's see. 2000. This is riveting. Dirk Coder was the head coach. Dan Hawkins was the offensive coordinator.
I figured that.
Let's see.
Dirk Cutter? Wow. Man, Boise State, what a pass through.
This is exciting podcasting.
This is great podcasting. Everyone is just on the edge of their seat.
2000 Boise State football. You'll be surprised to know that they don't have the roster here.
Oh, Michael.
I know. Hold on.
We're really good at this.
I'm just going to edit this out.
Don't edit it. Keep it in.
Let's see. 2000 Boise State football.
Maybe we can edit this out.
Yeah, I'll let the quiet part out. Here we go. Big West champs. Passing records. Here we go. Oh, I don't know who any of these guys are. Bart Hendricks was the starting quarterback.
Oh my goodness.
A guy named Brock Forsey was the leading rusher.
I do not. I have known these names do not mean anything to me.
Lou Fanucci had the most receiving yards. That's a great name.
I figured that. I figured Fanucci. He's big time.
Fanucci, gotta love it. So yeah, I guess
time.
that wasn't that great. Now I'm gonna look and see if Stanford ever got he threw a pass in 2001 and it was completed. So Mike Stanford could very well have 100% completion rate.
1,000.
Let's see. Oh yeah, in 2002, 3 for 3.
Dude, this guy's unstoppable. Some coach is going to have to explain his lack of playing time.
Let's see. And 2003, he went 6 for 13.
Oh, it's brutal.
But Jared Zabransky went 11 for 23.
There he is, Zabransky. There he is. So I want to tell you my least favorite thing about Notre Dame fans.
All right.
It's happening like
as we speak
right now. So like whenever they have a bad season, and it doesn't have to be 4-8. I mean, it could be 8-4, because when Notre Dame went 8-4, they're the same conversations was ever going on, and it's always like Notre Dame is accepting mediocrity, and this is how it's going to be for all time. Like the program is in shambles and it's burning to the ground, and we're basically an Ivy League team and like all they care about is money that they're making. It's so annoying.
Very disheartening.
It's so annoying. It's like, yeah, you definitely care more about Notre Dame football than the athletic administration. Absolutely. And it's like, look, I understand that making money to them is very important, but you realize that they know that if they don't win games, then there will be no money.
I mean, this is going to sound dumb to say, but it's hard. It's not like, winning games is super easy. Like,
right.
Like Clemson had, it was like half the NFL in their roster 4 years ago, and they couldn't win it. They couldn't win a bowl game.
It's so true, and it's just like
think of that Odell Beckham LSU team, and like they didn't do anything.
Yeah, just stop with like they don't want to be mediocre. Like they don't want it, and it's like I understand that you want them to not care about academics and stuff, but they are going to. Like they are going to care about it. So just stop complaining about it. The school is what it is. They want to be good. Yeah. They have more information than you. They just do. So it's like this is why I don't complain about what the decisions they make, if they're going to keep Brian Kelly or not. Like it doesn't matter. Like I can have my opinion, but I'm not going to sit here and complain about, well, they don't care about football. It's like, of course they do. What are you saying?
Right. It's just such a silly thing.
Like, of course they care. Why wouldn't they care? It's like, well, I lived in Dillon Hall, and when Lou was here, he didn't put up with that, and they're putting up with it. They just want to be mediocre and get their money, and they're going to raise my ticket prices. Dude, get out of here.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Get out of here.
They want you to buy a new shirt every year. That's all they care
about.
Yeah,
like they're totally convinced that they'll just keep raising the ticket prices, even though they're 6-6 every year, and everyone will care. I'm sure that's what they think.
People will stop going. Trust me.
Of course not. It's so annoying. Oh, it's so annoying.
I think John McKay at USC would get that kind of like, oh, in the McKay days. But now, like, if you like John McKay, you're like 60, 70 years old. So it's really died down. And like John Robinson had some real dud seasons, and Pete Carroll kind of flamed out at the end. So there's no one to really have that like, oh, back in my day.
I mean, you can totally go back to Pete Carroll. I mean, there's
a lot of like always compete, all that stuff, but I don't know. I think it's just a little too recent almost.
I got you. Yeah, Lou is very much in the like it was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So like people are kind of like in their 50s and they remember what it was like with Lou.
Yeah. And that's that, back in my day, things were better.
Dude, when we had a fullback, let me just tell you how it was with the fullback. Let me just say they ran the ball a lot with the fullback. It's like, okay, thanks.
It's like no one has a fullback anymore, so can we stop talking about it?
Yeah. It's like when Jerome Bettis was here.
It's like one of the best football players ever.
Yeah. When that Hall of Famer was here.
Thanks.
When that first ballot Hall of Famer was here, we didn't lose very often.
Really productive.
Hey, remember we had the Rocket? We never lost.
Never lost. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
College football players ever. Crazy.
It's like when we had the 1980s version of Reggie Bush, we were very good. Thank you.
Wild. It's just wild.
Yeah. Great.
But no, the school doesn't care. The school doesn't want to do that again.
Yeah.
They're actively making sure that good players don't come to Notre Dame.
They don't want that. They would rather be good at academics.
All those guys can go to Alabama. Thank you very much. Get out of here.
Hey, guys, remember we had Ricky Waters and Rocket Ismail on our team? That was great.
Not anymore. Thanks, administration. So stupid.
Thanks, corporate heads.
Yeah. Like, hey, but the stadium looks nice. That's what people say. It's so dumb. At least the SC plays in a dump.
That's true.
Oh, that's the SC news that who's all worked up? Scott Wolf is all worked up about it because the Chargers are coming to town. So they may have to install artificial grass at the Coliseum to keep up with 3 teams. Just practically speaking, it's going to be very tough. Yeah. So there'll be like 2 games on the Coliseum, like, a weekend, like 10 times.
Totally. Yeah. I get it. I mean, that is super.
Thanks, Chargers.
I actually don't like that. Like, that is totally thanks, Chargers. Like, because, like, Notre Dame did it. But that's because, like, their field was a dog track. Like, they couldn't,
and it snows, like.
Yeah, like, there's, like, clumps of grass, like, flying up through the air. Like, it was, like, taking divots. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, it was literally an embarrassment. And they tried as hard as they could, and they couldn't figure it out. So finally they put in the turf.
Yeah, that makes sense.
On the West Coast like that, like you look at the Rose Bowl, like that field is immaculate. And USC's field is good too. That's unfortunate.
I know. Just for 2 years until they build that big stadium in Inglewood.
Will they put the grass back in?
I mean, I guess it's probably expensive to do that, so I imagine no.
Oh man!
Right? I mean, I don't know.
Rental. And you know what the sad thing is like the Chargers and the Rams are garbage.
I know.
No one wants them.
No one wants them. I can't believe LA finally got a football team.
The one team that everyone wants is going to Vegas.
Even they're going to be garbage soon too. Don't you worry.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I can never believe in the Raiders.
I mean, they'll probably find a way to mess it up.
They'll Raider it up. Yeah, sorry, I took the thunder there, but yeah, that was the other SC news. Was they may put in turf at the Coliseum. Despicable.
I like how the Rams were here and then they left, and then they became like the best offense in football, like the most fun team.
Then when they came back, they can't even score touchdowns.
Literally the worst.
What is it? The Atlanta Falcons have scored more touchdowns in the Coliseum than the Rams have?
Yeah. Fantastic stat.
Great.
Greatest stat.
Oh, it's just embarrassing.
Yeah. Thanks, Georgia Frontieri.
Oh, well. All right. I think that means it's time to wrap this thing up.
All right.
Well, hey, everybody, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. I hope you enjoy your days off if you have them. Listen to the podcast, download the podcast, like the podcast, share the podcast.
Talk about it.
You're going to be around your family.
Tell your friends. Listen to it when you drive. Listen to us when you drive to see your family members that you don't want to talk to over Christmas, and bring it up to them. Argue about it. It's what we want.
I'm gonna one up that. Tell your family members about the no red shirt in bowl games.
Boom.
You just own it. Just steal it from us. It's okay.
Yeah. Don't even tell people. Like, just act like you
say it's yours. Yeah.
I don't own any copyrights.
It's like, I think I heard that on a podcast. Then yeah.
You'll be the smartest guy in the room. Or girl.
You will. Or girl, yeah. Exactly. So that's all the listeners' job is to talk about no red shirts in bowl games over Christmas. When we come back, we'll actually be talking about a bowl game as USC prepares for Penn State in the Rose Bowl. Let's see. Greg, what's your Twitter?
At Greg2126.
Any Notre Dame stuff? Articles? Things
Dude, I got articles coming out. I got one posted on Sunday about Brian Kelly and whether or not he can actually turn it around. I might have something on recruiting. I alluded to it earlier. They need to do better.
All right.
I'll
post those. I'll share those and post those somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm Michael Muto on Twitter. Tilting Ground on Twitter has all the updates. And fight on.
Go Irish.